In today's lesson, we are going to be learning about cube roots. So in the previous lesson, we learned about square roots, which is the opposite of squaring a number, the opposite of multiplying a number by itself. Now, in this lesson, we're going to be learning about cube roots, so we're going to be learning about the opposite operation of when you cube a number, when you multiply a number by itself 3 times. So first of all, to cube a number is to find the product of a number multiplied by itself 3 times. To find the cube root of a number, for example, 8, you must find the number that is multiplied by itself 3 times to get that number. So, for example, the cube root of 8 is 2 because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. A perfect cube is any number whose cube root is a whole number. All right, and these are examples of, you'll see below what examples of perfect cubes look like. All right, so using your calculators. Now, I'm going to use, some of you have a calculator with a cube button on it, which works, okay? If you have this scientific calculator on your computer or on your Chromebook, this one doesn't have a cube button, so we can't really use this unless you maybe switch it to scientific mode. Right here, that would be a cube button. That's what a cube button would look like. If you're using the Desmos calculator I provide on Schoology, I believe it doesn't have a cube button. It doesn't. So what you would have to do is just go to the third power. So 2 exponent button 3, and it is 8. Okay, so my answer to this would be 8. Okay, 3 to the third, clear. 3 to the third is 27. 4 to the third is 64. 5 to the third is 125. 6 to the third is 216. 7 to the third is 343. 8 to the third is 512. 9 to the third is 729. And I know 10 to the third off the top of my head, it's 1 and 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So these are all examples of perfect cubes. Anything that's all the numbers in between those are non-perfect cubes. Or I'm sorry, all the numbers in between those listed above are non-perfect. All right, I'm going to erase this non-perfect cube, or just add non-perfect cubes. We could use this list to help estimate the cube roots of non-perfect cubes. Okay, so the cube root of a non-perfect cube is an irrational number. For example, if I picked, I don't know, somewhere in between here, let's pick the number 50, okay, or 40 right here. Square or cube root of 40 is between 3 and 4 because it falls in between 27 and 64. So it's probably going to be 3 point something. Okay, same thing here. The cube root of 300 is between 6 and 7. So that's going to be 6 point something. Okay. All right, now using your calculators. All right, so if you're using the Desmos calculator, you want to find the cube root. For example, let's try a perfect cube first. All right, you would have to do this button. Nope, wrong one. You would have to use this button right here, and you have to type in the 3. Okay, and then for this portion, you would have to type in 8. And so the cube root of 8 is 2. All right, let's pick another one, 216. Watch. All right, hit this button, cube root it. 216 is 6. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at an example. The cube root of 124. The cube root, so I have to put 3 in there, of 124 is 4.98. I'm going to round this to the nearest hundredth. So I'm going to say 4.99. Okay. Let's look at another. Let's do one with a negative right here. Negative the cube root of 399. So these you can have negatives because you multiply a positive. If you multiply a negative by a negative by a negative, okay, you can get a negative number. All right. So what was the number? 399. So the cube root. So where's the negative button first? I think it's this one. The cube root of 399 is negative 7.36. So I'm going to round this one to the nearest tenth. So it's going to be negative 7.4. It's about. These little squigglies means about 7.4. All right. If I had to say which numbers are these in between, okay, this is between the numbers. Do this in another color. Between the numbers -8 and -7, because if I had the number line, right, this is the number line here, -8 and -7, it would be somewhere right in there, -7.4 on the number line. Okay, so this section is pretty much just getting familiar with your calculator and knowing where the cube root button is. If you're using the one on a computer, I don't know if the same one as mine here. Let's see. I don't think this has a cube root button either. It doesn't. Okay, so it's just understanding on your scientific calculator where the cube root button is. On the TI calculators, the TI 30s, there should be a cube root button on there. I believe it's on there. You just have to look on the, not the main buttons, but like one of the secondary buttons. So you would have to hit second something, all right, to get the cube root. But you, if you want to just be familiar with using the Desmos calculator, which we're going to be using a lot this year, you can do that as well. And that's a pretty easy way to navigate through that. All right. So work through these problems. If you have questions, please let me know. Thank you for watching.